What's up everyone, and today I'm bringing a deck profile on my Floowandreeze. Now Floowandreeze is an interesting deck. Used to be one of the best decks, and then the statue got banned, which made it not as great. But there are other ways you can play Floowandreeze to kind of work around that, which I'm going to show off in this deck profile. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First, I run 3 Arbina, 3 Eklund, 1 Stree, and 1 Toucan. Now, all the Floowandreeze have an effect that when an effect resolves, you can be an additional normal summon. And when a Floowandreeze monster is normal summoned, or when a winged beast monster is normal summoned, you can add this card back from your banished zone. And all of them have effect when they are summoned. So, Rabina searches level 4 lower winged beast, Eklund adds level 7 or higher winged beast, Stree banishes a card from either graveyard, and Toucan can add a banished Floowandreeze card back to your hand. Rabina and Eklund are going to be the main ones you're going to, because your standard play is Rabina into Eklund into Empen, which you do run 2 of Floowandreeze and Empen. Now, Empen is the boss monster of this deck. Basically, your opponent cannot activate the effects of special summon monsters in attack position. Now, special summon monsters in defense position can still activate their effects. So there is some workability around this, but we kind of come up with something to kind of help with that. So, as I said before, Rabina, Eklund, and Empen is your traditional play. Empen has some other cool effects. One is when it battles, you can banish a card from your hand to have whatever it's attacking into or being attacked with in half. And additionally, when it is normal summon, you can add a Floowandreeze card from your deck to your hand. The cool thing is, you don't have to just run Floowandreeze level 7 to higher. You can also run something like Apex Avion, bounce it back to the hand to negate, and Ryza to pop 2 cards on the field, or more of like a pop and a spin back, something like that. But basically, you got your Floodgate, your regular negate, and your removal. You also don't want to run too many of the high level ones, because then it can just lead to bricks. Because let's say you open Avion, Empen, Ryza, and Toucan, and one other dead card, then you don't really have any plays. We don't play many hand traps, really only play one, and that is the 3-dimension Sifter. This deck, your graveyard is irrelevant. If anything, your cards like to be banished. So we run this, it's just a good card, hurts the best deck, and doesn't hurt us one bit. Next, I run 3 of the Floowandreeze Field Spell. Floowandreeze Field Spell is pretty cool. First, during your main phase, you can reveal a level 1 Floowandreeze monster in your hand, then banish 1 Floowandreeze card with a different name. Then immediately after this effect resolves, roll summon that revealed monster. The cool thing is, that's an additional summon. So, in a way, the Field Spell is like a search and a double summon all in one. Additionally, if your opponent normal summons a monster, you can also normal summon one as well, even during your opponent's turn. So that's really good, cool, and it allows you to play on your opponent's turn as well. So, first turn, you're going to set the Empen, and then on the second turn, if they're normal summon, that's when you go into your Avion or your Ryza. Now, for the tech card that I'm playing, and honestly, I actually played this in one tournament, and I actually did really well. I played 3 Domain of the True Monarchs. You lost 1 Floodgate, so let's replace it with another. Domain of the True Monarchs, if you control a tribute summon monster, your opponent cannot special summon from the extra deck. And against basically every meta deck, that's going to hurt. Most of their big attack monsters or their boss monsters are in the extra deck. So not only can they not activate the effects of special summon monsters in attack position, but they also can't even summon from the extra deck at all. Of course, we do run the 1 Terraforming for it. Also run 3 Floowandreeze and Advent of Adventure. Now, Floowandreeze is pretty cool, or the Advent of Adventure is pretty cool. You can banish a winged beast monster from your hand or face the field to add a Floowandreeze monster or the Floowandreeze field spell from your deck to hand. So it really adds a lot of consistency to Floowandreeze, which is definitely really cool, because with the loss of the fairy statue, we lost our main win condition, so having that extra consistency really helps. And also, if you don't open up the best of hand, it kind of helps to kind of like fix that problem. Next, I play Floowandreeze and the Unexplored Winds. Now, Unexplored Winds is pretty cool. So basically it allows you to kind of shuffle a couple cards back into your hand to draw the same amount, which is really cool. And additionally, while it's on the field and you would tribute summon a level 7 or higher winged beast, you can use a card your opponent controls instead, which is cool because it doesn't even have to be a monster. It can be field spell, trap, whatever you want. So that's definitely really cool. Now, we do run some draw power. We do run the 3 Pot of Duality and the 3 Pot of Desires. With the Pot of Prosperity getting limited to 1, it's not really as useful, and honestly, since we're playing the Domain of the True Monarchs, we don't have an extra deck at all. So having a card like Prosperity or Extravagance just doesn't really do much of anything. Now, obviously, if you want to cut the Domain of the True Monarchs out, then you'd probably also cut Pot of Desires for like Pot of Extravagance. But since we do run that, we run Desires instead. Now, Zars can be a bit of a 50-50 in this deck because we do have some one-ofs like the Unexplored Winds, Rise and Avian are one of. So if we end up banishing all that, then it could be rough, but most scenarios you will be able to still play beyond that. Next, we run the 3, Book of Moon. Book of Moon is really good as both an offensive and defensive tool in this deck. You can use it to on your opponent to block an attack, stop them from summoning certain extra deck monsters, or you can use it to avoid a negation. Since both Imperm and Valor do target, you can chain Book of Moon, which will book your like Robin or your Eaglin, and their effect will still resolve. Unfortunately, we'll go to the graveyard to get banished, but we have Stree, as well as Shifter, we're fine. Next is another card I kind of like playing is Snatch Steal, which is probably a bit of a big surprise. And if you want to say, for example, swap Snatch Steal out for Unexplored Winds, that's also an option, which is something I've kind of been thinking about because Snatch Steal is pretty cool. It's sort of like, along with like Book of Moon, my going second tool. Because going second is going to be a bit rougher because your opponent's going to have all the negates. But Book of Moon and Snatch Steal can at least force out those negations. Also, you run one Call by the Grave because a single Ash will, unless you don't have the Fill Spell or the Advent of Adventure, you're not doing much else. Moving on to the traps. I run the 1 Dreaming Town. Dreaming Town is like the field spell, or the secondary effect of field spell better, whereas the field spell requires your opponent to normal summon a monster before you do normal summon. Dreaming Town does that on its own. So basically during your main phase, or not during your main phase, during the main phase, immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon a level 4 lower wing beast monster. Now, originally I was running Triple Tactics Talent in this deck, but I kind of cut it out mainly just because when like practicing or doing something like that, it's really hard to see how effective it is in this deck, but Talent is something you can run, and what I'm running in place of that is the Harpies Featherstorm. Now, most scenarios you probably main the talents and side the Featherstorm, which is probably what I'd usually do. But I wanted to put the Storm in the main deck because honestly, if you open this going first, then you basically win the game because there is no counter play to it. If it resolves, it resolves. Your opponent can't do a thing about it, which is really cool. So that's my Floowandreeze deck. What do you think of Floowandreeze? Do you think it's a pretty fun deck? Let me know in the comments and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.